Xfinity, and ESEA.
After winning the first 5 rounds, it does not even matter. OpTic Gaming have secured their trip to Dallas, Texas. Of course, the homecoming of Counter-Strike and what will be the ESL Pro League finals over there in the Verizon Theater. It was there last season, or well, the season before last season. It was very nice. Very warm atmosphere, a lot of things going on. You get your face tattooed. You could basically...
All right.
Yeah. Not like Mike Tyson's style of tattoo.
I was about to say, like...
Perhaps. I mean, maybe that's in the cards this year. Either way, OpTic Gaming have punched a ticket to go to the Pro League finals in Dallas. And with that, what do we got for it, boys?
I mean, we've got me winning a wager, obviously. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this. Even getting the scoreline correct.
You're so full of yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, how can you not be? It becomes tiring of being so right so much of the time. I mean, sometimes I just want, you know, sometimes I wish we could do like a Freaky Friday thing where I got to experience what it's like to be pimp on the desk. Just continuously be wrong.
Tell you what, you guys can actually just switch right now, and you could act to be each other throughout the duration of this rest of the segment. That's fine.
Want to do it?
No, I don't actually want to know how that is. I'm pretty happy with how things are going for myself.
But seems like a pretty successful dude. Seems like he got it all figured out. Kind of like OpTic Gaming have figured out how to go to Dallas, Texas for the ESL Pro League Finals. Again, congratulations if you're just joining us. They have secured it in one map, and that's all it took. We did make a little friendly wager beforehand, and it looks like Pimp will be wearing a costume of some sort of my choosing tomorrow, should I go get it.
I'm going to send you ideas all night.
It doesn't matter what you pick, Trace. I don't give a damn.
I already have it figured out, and I have a couple ideas, and it might actually be an improvement to your current life stature.
Do you have the budget for what you want?
Yes.
I'm willing to chip in on this.
I was about to say, he's probably willing to pay.
All right, so when Pimp comes in here in a full astronaut outfit tomorrow, that's just kidding. That'd be actually really, I'd be jealous. I'd want to wear the astronaut outfit myself.
It's true.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about this matchup that was OpTic Gaming versus Dignitas. Nobody really could sit here and say that regardless of Dignitas' stature within the league to this point, that they were a clear favorite going into this one. However, the asterisk would be that OpTic Gaming has found themselves seemingly in a pretty turbulent roster situation where we saw Shazam and Stanislaw both in this game. However, the news broke today that they will be leaving the lineup in place of being replaced by Snappy and Yugi. So, now that I got all that out of there, talk to me about what kind of team dynamic could be going on within the camp knowing these conditions.
I mean, this is all about, you know, just getting it over with. These are the last, like, the next map we're going to see OpTic play is going to be the last map we're ever going to see these guys play together. So right now, all they have to do that was securing the spot at Dallas. They did that now, so I wouldn't be surprised if next game, obviously they still want to secure a good spot for Dallas, but Shazam and Stanislaw, as we talked about, they don't really have anything to play for unless, you know, they want to show themselves off to potential new teams, which against a team like Dignitas, whatever you drop 30 frags or 20 doesn't really matter because nobody gives a damn anyway. So it's sort of like a case where they're just going to go in there, they're going to have fun, they're going to make the best out of it, and it doesn't really matter at all what's going to happen from now on. OpTic qualifies for Dallas, and that's it.
I was about to say, like, go out there and have fun, but considering, I mean, obviously we can only speculate just what happened, why they made roster changes and so on, but I mean, just from own experiences, whenever there's been like a tear within a team, it's not necessarily the happy-go-lucky kind of place that it wasn't, you know, to start off the adventure.
But on the other side of it, we're going to pull up a graphic here showing the scores and, well, I suppose, the number game on this side of Mirage. But another side of this that you're talking about, it could very well be when there's a change within a team, sometimes teams thrive on that. Like, how many times have you heard of the term dead team walking and these guys just come out and win an Atlantic?
NIP is a great example of that. When was it back in 2015 or 16 when the team effectively were dead? Like they already agreed, like we're not going to continue as a team, and then all of a sudden they started to play well again. They started to win a tournament here and there, and they decided, oh well, we might stick together anyway, and we now know them as NIP today. Obviously, they did change a few players. Freiberg is out, Exist is out, but besides from that, they bought themselves a year more just by, you know, agreeing to, this is it, boys, we're going to play a few more months, but we know we're not going to stick together. Yeah. But as you said, you know, freedom gives space and gives confidence and lets you free in a game where it's all about confidence, all about feeling, you know, you have no pressure on you and just feeling like you can play the game for fun.
I can even go as far back as to old ESEA lands in Dallas, which would now obviously be the Pro League finals, where there were teams that would do really, really well there, even though knowing that their entire roster was about to be overhauled or someone was leaving the team. Next thing you know, they find themselves in the finals, winning back-to-back BO3s from the lower bracket, and it's like, okay, well, like, yeah, I guess there's some sort of
should have hung together.
yeah, there's some sort of method to this madness, but obviously it's like a weight lifted off the shoulder in some regards to some of these players. And the only other weight that I can think of is the weight that we're going to have right now as we go into Inferno, and I'm talking about a different sort of weight. We do have just a few minutes here to talk about this Dignitas OpTic matchup across Inferno, and for all intents and purposes, it was actually pretty close there on Mirage.
Yeah, no, it was. Again, I think it's going to be such a struggle for OpTic to deal with the ping that it's bound to be close unless Dignitas do something like unheard of and just forget how to play Counter-Strike altogether.
They did that on Mirage.
I mean, just partly though. So it did end up being somewhat close as well. Roka and AGC had pretty good games, and we did see a couple of okay moments, I guess, from Voltage on the A-bomb side with the op. But I think Inferno's going to be a bit of a different story. It's not as open of a map as Mirage is, and I think that's where the ping issue is just going to be well, difficult to get past, because there's so many like close quarters opportunities or close quarter combats where you do like quick peeks and so on, and that's obviously not going to be beneficial for any of the Danes. And that, like, Dignitas should be able to bounce on that any day of the week, and I think that's going to be the big advantage. So I see Dignitas being the favorite just going into this, and that's the first time all season I've said Dignitas are favored at anything at all.
I think OpTic is going to win this one. I for now, I lost faith in Dignitas. I feel it's over.
Now, like last week,
I don't know where you've been this whole season.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
I gave them some leave of faith, and I trusted in the boys from Dignitas. But at this point, it's getting to a point where if you can't win against Config, not like Config dropping 30 frags, or not 30 frags, 13 frags in a game, and playing with 120 ping, Cajun doing the same thing, Gate doing the same thing, playing with Shazam and Stanislaw, who are no longer on the team. You can only imagine how the income system is right now in OpTic, and if you can manage to win that one against them, then I don't trust it anymore. Dignitas, you had a nice season, but you lost a fan.
You had a nice season?
Yeah, it was a real great season. Oh my God, we are waiting on one of the Dignitas players. He goes by the name of Roka, so make sure you get your little tweets out, get whatever Facebook mentions, get them all out there, throw them all out there on the line. Say, hey, look, Roka, get in here. You already readied up once, I was told. So why don't you go ahead and ready up one more time for the home team?
One more time.
And on Inferno, there is no real home team, I believe, between these two teams, and both all the asterisks we can have surrounding these situations. It's poised to be an interesting battle.
The problem is OpTic want to play aggressively. They want to play loose because they don't have like anything to play for anyway. Config is going to rush out Banana, and with 130 ping, you would imagine the Dignitas guys would be able to kill them, and that's what I would hope for.
That's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm banking on this game. 100%.
How about this? 30 seconds, and you guys have both less than that to tell me who you have in this matchup between OpTic and Dignitas.
You know what? I'm actually going to go with Dig. It's going to be the one time this season where I actually believe in them. Pimp's lost faith. That has to be a good sign. So, yeah, Dignitas taking this one.
16-12 for OpTic game against Dignitas.
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 All right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and bring in the commentary duo, the newest, freshest commentary duo that I can think of. Will be, I think you guys are working together down in Sydney? No? Maybe?
No, you'd be wrong.
Oh, well, perhaps it was just wishful thinking.
Yep.
And with that, I'm going to leave it to you guys to take over on Inferno, and we're going to get out of here.
Thank God. Yes, Inferno going to kick it off, Harry.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I love a good game of Inferno, me. I used to hate the old map, Jason, I'll be honest with you. Kind of.
So you hated Inferno and you're a big fan of Canals?
Well, no, I love Inferno now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't like the old map. It used to tilt me, far too narrow.
Which one?
Just like old Inferno, like back when...
God
like the
bless
most
it all.
recent one.
Bless it all, Harry.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
what way do you think this is going to go, Jason? Dignitas? Or
I have no idea, to be honest with you. There's too many intangibles with it. I'm still going to have to just go with OpTic just because I think they could kind of... I don't know. They could almost even sleepwalk, I feel, through it. Even though the last map was close, like they just have so much individual skill. I don't think the Alps will be nearly as effective for Dignitas as well on this map, so we'll see. That being said, it is early in the morning here in Copenhagen where the OpTic core is playing from. So, oh, this is a nice nade stack. That's really, really cool. Doesn't do nearly as much damage as I thought it would have. A nice kill from Stanislaw. Config needs to build, but oh, that's a nice flick over on the headshot. Thankfully, he finds that. Starts spamming through, tries to find the timing, doesn't come in, but his teammates, he's got 2 on the flank. They've got all of the Dignitas players boxed into the bomb site. They're going to start turning the corner. Mitch is out in the open. Surely he'll go down soon. Pop Flash goes past Config, but he can't react in time. And that was maybe the only thing that Dignitas could have done to save this round.
Sam gonna hop on the bomb. Grim's gonna get himself a double. Has to get 4 to win this out, and Cajun polishes him off. So a team ace for OpTic. And the pistol round are locked in for this CT side. I do like team ace. Keeps the numbers nice and balanced. Look at that. It's great if you're a big fan of things matching.
Yes.
You know, really just churning out some of my best stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as you say, something to take into account is it is 3:30 in the morning right now for the guys playing from Denmark. That, of course, is all the Danes within this OpTic roster. So they've been grinding CS pretty hard as of late. You gotta imagine they're feeling a bit tired, so maybe that plays into this. Dignitas, they've gone for an interesting buy. Didn't really get to. Oh, never mind. Roka's already dead, so he was kind of the one with all the responsibility on his shoulders to get anything done with the AK. Now Grim's lost it. The AK's gone. They have at least got Config. Surprisingly, it's the Glock to get a kill in this round. It's all over. They're going to go ahead and grab that AK. Or do they? No, they don't.
Did Config not have head armor? That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I think his backup had an M4, right? So, I mean, yeah, you could say he traded out for the AK, but I think they wanted an SMG to try and run and get the AK-47, but couldn't find it. Even with that purchase from Roka, he's going to have a deagle this round. It is going to be a buy on everyone else. So Grim dropped the AK in the previous round. Roka invested everything into the previous round. So 3 AKs on everyone else and upgraded pistols on those 2 as Dignitas tries to apply pressure early on in this half. It didn't pan out the first time around, but a chance to make it work here. Config still trying to hold some semblance of banana control. I think when the smoke fades, maybe a pop flash from the bomb site. There it is. He's going to grab one, goes over towards the logs, and finds a second. That's beautiful from Config, and now it's Gade. Able to get the dink, able to get a lot of information. Nade is out, and that's not going to do a whole lot of damage as Grim tries to lead the way. Look at Shazam, though, on the flank. Transfers down and now up, but can't complete the kill. 2 on 3. As OpTic, they're spread thin, but they've whittled down these forces.
Man, Grim and Voltage, they were very, very good on the previous map. It's fallen to these two of the original members of this Dignitas roster to try and clutch out this first buy round. They'll be throwing all the utility they've got in towards the B-bomb. So they have a smoke for the cross, but Stan peeks through it. Now he's left it all onto Grim. 1v3, 30 seconds on the clock, and the crossfire from Stan and Config prevails. OpTic get themselves a 3rd round. And now there is no money for Team Dignitas. Now, this gives me a bit of time, Jason, to address the fact that you were really, really against Canals. And I have to ask why. What did it ever do to you? Have you played it?
No.
Well, then there we go. I too, judged Canals.
It's pure bias and prejudice against the map.
I tell you what, Jason, you're in EU a lot at the minute. Next time you have free time, or maybe while we're in Australia, you and I just put up one game of Canals, maybe.
You're just trying to get me to hang out with you, aren't you, Harry?
Well, yeah. I'm just gonna be shameless. Oh, no, I mean, it could be. You never know, Jason. It could be some good warm up in case there is. I don't know if there is, but there might be another talent show match. Who knows? And you know, you could probably do with the practice if you want to take part in something like that.
The talent show matches will never be on Canals.
Oh yeah, God no. Maybe they will. Maybe now that they've heard you say this, someone's listening in.
We'll see. For now, we're all good with what we've got, and it's a nice man advantage for the OpTic side, the defensive side of things. That's a pretty costly effort for Dignitas, losing 2 players and a lot of utility in Banana and not really gaining anything from it. They do net 1 kill, but just feels it's not enough for the investment. Especially considering Shazam with this AWP controlling top mid. He can get a lot of information and certainly can find a kill. Plenty of smokes to block him off and isolate him. Question is, will Dignitas use theirs on mid? The answer is no. Opening kill for Shazam as that hit, and even the collateral onto Roka down to 2 HP. So Gade should be able to find Mitch, and it's pretty much all over from here, outside of some incredible shots from Roka. That's a good start. There's one incredible shot, headshot into pit, pre-firing all the angles, but can't find Shazam. 5-0 for OpTic.
Yeah, this is a very, very good start, especially when you consider that Dignitas, they kind of tried to make Inferno one of their home maps. It felt like they played this a hell of a lot. I think every time we've seen them play a series in Pro League, one of the maps has been Inferno. So they're big Inferno fans, much like myself. And right now, you wouldn't know that. You know, you're probably watching, thinking it's just OpTic kind of running over some guys you probably haven't really heard of. And that is...
Wow.
Oh, that is brutal. That utility damage. They have only just had one bullet come their way, and this round's already over. It's just Grim. 1v3. And he's going to go pushing into B. He has at least... Oh, never mind. Cajun B, the old Martyrdom perk from COD 4 coming back.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that one. Oh, fair play. Yeah, I mean, it's if you're Dignitas, though, I guess you're partially happy with 3 kills. You know, you've kind of forced some rebuys. You know, you've prevented money from building up at the very least. Still a long way to go, but that's the minimum you have to get out of a round for Dignitas. This banana control just has not gone well throughout this half. And now they're just getting mopped up all across the map. Shazam forced away by a Molotov, but look at Stanislav's push. He's going to get a free kill from behind. He's got to be careful. There's going to be someone coming through T-ramp, through that smoke. He has Config watching with the AWP, but I don't think that's going to help him a whole lot. Somehow he survives anyways. Going underneath the underpass. Very dominant CT side so far from OpTic.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Dignitas, they haven't really even put anything too significant, you know, to the table. I think we've seen really one close round, or 2 if you include the pistol. And that was that 2 versus 2 that we saw Voltage and Grim in. But even then, they just kind of got wrecked the second it came down to anything meaningful. And well, here's Voltage holding mid. That nade has actually allowed a man to cross. And oh, they've got no idea. They have someone watching it. Stan is in a position to do everything. And admittedly, he hasn't really done everything. He's kind of done some of it. And he's just going to get to walk away. Roka doesn't trade. Does finally manage to do so, but there's Shazam to answer the call, and now it's just Grim. 1v4.
See, this is kind of what the desk was talking about when they mentioned, you know, this is like a dead team walking, essentially this OpTic team with the new lineup coming in, and like how weird things can get, and somehow Grim's found another kill. But that's a round where it's like, all right, like one person just push your spot. You know, everyone push somewhere. And it ends up working out because Stanislav just gets that one kill. Everyone starts getting focused on mid and how many players are coming down mid and who's going to be peeking from mid. And then one pushes Halls when you're not expecting it. One pushes Banana when you're looking the other direction. So it's really tough for Dignitas to figure out what to do when they can't even read what's coming because it's all just so wild and random.
Yeah, wild and random indeed. Well, I'll tell you what. This is a good start for Dignitas, at least. They've been able to get a man advantage. Ooh, Config, you brutal individual. He's going to go ahead and tag down A2Z, and now he just falls back. Now, Dignitas, okay, this is it. This is where they kind of, okay, they've slowed down. They've got the man advantage. First time we've seen them in this position. They're going to try and challenge for the top of mid, it looks like, but now the utility comes in to stop them from doing that. Shazam peeking up into apartments. There are players there. And it's a very, very passive hold inside the site from these OpTic boys. Only one man in B in the former Config. Dignitas, if they go ahead and throw the Incendiary over at long to flush Cage and B out, then you very easily see them extend that man advantage that much more. Just comes down now to the good utility usage out from the T side. Dan's going to go to dispatch of Midge. Now Cage and B emerges, but Voltage finds him. So 3-on-3. And now Roka dies over in B to Config.
The bomb's actually going B as well, and he's all alone at the moment. So even though Voltage has this good position to stop any kind of rotation, or he can split towards the B bomb site, he'd have to hustle if he was going to open up the opportunity into this site. That's a good frag towards A, but the bomb's committed to B. And Config can hold him off. Needs his utility out, or needs his op out, excuse me, around the edge of that smoke. He's just giving himself up. He's going to run right through, but it's a drive-by. Perhaps a lucky headshot, but Config definitely gave him the opportunity by trying to be clever instead of trying to fight. It's just on Shazam, who's got to retake a 1-on-2 with the AWP. They've had plenty of time, and I think this would be the nail in the coffin if Shazam is able to win it out. He would love to transfer over some kind of a rifle. Can't find one just yet, though. Gonna walk in, and he's got to kind of guess which way he wants to peek first. That's a good find. Grim ends it before the follow-up shot can come in. Dignitas is on the board. Grim has 11 kills. The next closest is 3. That's a bit of a, how do you say, disaster.
Yeah, that is pretty brutal for Grim, who is trying tooth and nail to keep his team in this. He's top of the board, as you say, and almost top of the server. I think the only man who's higher than him right now might be, I think it was Config on 13. Not entirely sure. Someone was on 13. I'm sure we'll see. But here's Roka creeping up toward the top of Banana. My Config lies in wait, and I know this is a fight that not many people would like to take, especially as things heat up now. Roka's going to get forced back, tagged down to 50 voltage. While he does win the fight out over Shazam, he's been legged down at 8. So damage being done. Once again, though, Dignitas, they found a man advantage. They have something to work with here. But what can you do against that? Cajun B through the smoke, just going to go to get rid of Roka, makes it look easy.
Yeah, you really can't do a whole lot. Now they're just going to try and funnel up towards that A bomb site. Gade is only going to get one before being traded off, but Cajun's in position inside. Grim peeks from below. Stanislaw out in the open. He's isolated one player. He's got him down solo. There's the spray. And Voltage, 8 HP against Config. The M4. Oh, nice find from Voltage. Config couldn't react in time. Another 1-versus-1 victory for Dignitas. They get their second as they continue to build back into this, and they might just force a save.
Everyone's favorite technical timeout gives us some time just to mull over what's happened. I'll eagerly await any extra information as to what's going on. TeamSpeak issue, there you go.
There are a lot of TeamSpeak issues.
It's already fixed apparently. They're very quick at getting on it. I tell you what, we always say this, Jason. I've never had an issue with TeamSpeak. I've never had an issue with anything. But it feels like I don't know who hosts these servers that they're on.
I know, it's a bit wild, isn't it?
They're like buying them in back alleys or something. You know, getting some dodgy servers. I tell you what, year's 2018. Just go ahead and use Discord. Works pretty well. I've never had that go down. But oh well, you know. 6 rounds between these two teams. Dignitas, they've got the last 2 consecutively. They've started to slow down this CT side economy. And that's big for them. If they want to stand a chance here on Inferno, they have to crack this economy. And they've started to do exactly that. 3 M4s bought up. It is a buy from OpTic, but it's the last they'll get for the foreseeable future if Dignitas manage to find this round.
Config gonna challenge aggressively again in Banana. Gonna win it as well through the smoke and even adding some damage. Stanislaw, and actually all the kills going OpTic's way across the board. They've set up some nice crossfires over towards Halls, and this time they don't even need to outright win the Banana fight, even though they have denied control of it over to Dignitas, and it's a 2-on-5. Roka and Voltage versus the world, and this is a very sparse beat-up buy from OpTic, so Dignitas would have loved to have had to at least got a couple kills out of this. They still have the chance. Roka's gonna pressure, flash over, wants to go through the smoke. He's waiting, biding his time. Stanislaw behind the board, somehow dodging every single bullet that comes his way. Roka transfers over, but he can't find the follow-up. There's the op shot. Voltage finds a jumping config, and he can actually get into the site. And this is where he can start causing damage. If he can get this plant, I think he's taking a bit too long as they're going to turn the corner. Shazam should be able to shut him down. Flashbang comes in. He cannot recover in time, but Gade does him a favor, shoots Shazam in the back of the head right after stabbing him in the back and cutting him from the team. That's just a joke. It's dark humor.
Oh, no, you love it. 9-2 is the score right now. Let's calm down. You know, there's 7 rounds between these two teams. Everyone's happy. We're all happy families here. Apart from Dignitas, they're pretty upset. They've got no money. That's a relatable feeling. I felt like that for a couple of weeks, about a week ago. So yeah, here's Grim. Going to be going down early on. Shazam opens up with the AWP, and can he get any more? Well, we'll see, because there are players coming his way. He's set up over in mid, watching the long angle. Gade is here to help, and he hears all the footsteps come teaming on through. There we go. Gade and Shazam, they've been able to go ahead and do damage. Roka does get one, and now he's got the AWP to play with. He's going to get finished off by Cajun, and now it's A2Z. He has been able to drop out Gade, and now that's going to give him a rifle up along with this armor. Still 3 players yet to find. Bomb on his back and 1 minute and 5 seconds to play with. So he is still in with a shot of doing something in this round.
I shouldn't be able to do much. Config holding this from Graveyard. I'll see if A2Z even expects it. No. Nice off angle from Cajun. Immediate headshot. And 10-2. Everyone from OpTic in double digits. With that kill from Cajun coming in at the end. And you still have, you know, 3 players below 5 frags on the Dignitas side, and among those is Roka, is A2Z, some of the guys brought in to have a bit more production. So not looking great for the Dignitas offense. And again, they're going to go right back towards challenging. Actually, no, excuse me, they're not going to challenge for a banana. That's just A2Z ran up to throw some utility. Look at Gade, aggressive as always, wins that, adjusts nicely. I don't know if he can get away though. Smoke is down, they can spam right through it, but he gets the follow-up headshot. Fighting as he retreats and shutting players down, and Config almost giving it up in return, but Shazam's there with the peak. For a dead team, they're showing some pretty good, or a dead lineup I should say, they're showing some pretty good teamwork.
Yeah, they most definitely are. You know, some signs of life in a dead roster. Ooh, I tell you what though, Voltage. What is that? I don't even know the noise he just made me made. I've never done that before. Here we go. Voltage is on 3. That's phenomenal. Oh my goodness, look at him go. He might have just got Dignitas around. You kind of feel like if this isn't enough, what is? Dignitas, they've got the bomb. They're going to start to fall back to B. Gade lies in wait over in Graveyard.
Yeah, he should book it over towards the B bomb site. They know he got the kills in A-halls earlier on, so they know he's an A player. And I think he's just kind of saying, I have 19 HP, no point in me moving. Which kind of makes sense. He's on his way there now, but I think as the bomb gets planted, he might as well just give it up. Just start bailing out now. Unless, you know, you're just saying, screw it. We already made Dallas. We've already changed lineups. Might as well try and get a highlight clip on the board. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, this is it. This is the marketable montage play from Gade. 1v2. His team. You know, our viewers, investors, possibly. On looking as Gade looks to try and clutch. Going to go walking out of the arms of Mitch. It's not meant to be. 3-10. A fantastic hat trick from Voltage. Helps solidify a 3rd round there for Dignitas. And well, there's going to be investment from OpTic. They don't want to play things safe. They're going to take the fight here and now. Mag 7 brought up for Cajun B. UMP on Shazam. Config with a Deagle and armor. OpTic playing this very, very confidently. And almost without a care in the world. It feels like they're just trying to have fun with it. Yeah, this is kind of the last hurrah for this roster anyway. They've also just qualified for Dallas, so they're in high
I was gonna say,
spirits.
it's like that end of like, you know, you do like a week-long summer camp and then you have like the ice cream party on the last day. Say goodbye to all your friends that you're not going to see for some time. No, not so much.
I mean, like, summer camp I think is more of like an American thing.
Okay.
We don't really, because like summer in the UK is just awful.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do anything or go anywhere. Oh, look at Shazam, he only manages one. I hope maybe we'd see something else. But yeah, Grim is going to fall prey to Cajun B. I was going to say, surely no more. Surely it doesn't happen again.
If he got that jumping shot, that feels like it would have been, you know, where we draw the line. Like, that just would have been too much. Config waiting for the plant to come in. He's going to push through this, surely. Molotov out. I think he thinks his default box is Stanislaw. Can't win the fight. Config with the trade, and A2Z has 100 health. Config, though, able to pick up a rifle. Smoke. And he's tossing it all out. We'll see if they come through this. There's A2Z spamming away, but he gets outplayed to an exponential degree. And Config going to get OpTic up to 11 and return the favor. It's going to be Dignitas with a busted bye into the next round, and OpTic will be sitting quite nice.
You ever been to a summer camp, Jason? Why actually even is it? Just like a place you go where...
I used to go to a summer camp every year for about 4 or 5 years in a row. It was a month-long one, which is a bit extreme. And we would do like 3 weeks at an actual campsite with like cabins and all that good stuff, and you know, like hundreds of kids varying ages, and then like a 1 week camping and hiking trip. Like we did like 10 days of canoeing in Canada. We did like, you know, week-long river rafting and everything like that.
You're
So,
really selling this to me, Jason.
yeah, it's good fun. You play beach volleyball. I played cricket, Foursquare. You probably don't know what Foursquare is. I think
don't.
that's an American thing. It's good stuff.
See, like in the UK, it's like,
Ropes
oh,
courses, climbing walls.
in the UK, summer is just like, it rains more,
Yeah, the UK is pretty crap weather.
you know, and like no one wants to go anywhere because it's too hot. You know, we're never happy. I don't know what the ideal temperature is for a British person. It's like we like it to be just like lukewarm with a breeze, and
That
not to be
sounds-
too grey.
That sounds pretty UK, if I do say so myself. Voltage is he's gonna win this.
Yeah, 1v1, Cajun B, 16 HP, and he has to get a 4K to find a 12th round for OpTic. Voltage goes hunting, and Voltage finds it. There you go, Jason. You looked into your crystal ball, and you predicted correctly. 4-11 at the end of this for Dignitas, or 11-4 perhaps. And just like that, it's a good half for Team OpTic. As I kind of put their name together with Dignitas there by mistake. But OpTic are looking good. There's no denying it. They've been in control throughout this entire half for the most part. Dignitas, a few glimmers of hope, most notably in the form of Voltage and Grim, who have stepped up massively for their team here, really rallying the call to try and do something. Of course, Grim top for Dignitas, Config top of the board for OpTic, 126 ADR. What do you think of that, Jason?
I'm looking over at Mitch, Roka, and A2Z, all of them below 50 ADR, and that's making me cringe just a little bit. Gives you that uncomfortable feeling. OpTic on the T side now. They would love to, I mean, you might as well just win the pistol and get this over with. You do not want to mess with the T side where you have 3 players with 130 ping that can start feeling useless real quick. Nice goosh on A2Z. That should spur them forward, but Voltage is here at Coffins. Takes Shazam out of the fight, going for more damage on a Config, and he can make this work. But now he just feels they've done enough. They brought Stanislaw down to 9, Config at 43. They're going to have all 5 players here. This is the big fight. Cajun has to win this and not able to do it, not able to react quick enough. Perhaps the ping coming into play, and this is a wash. Cade can't do much in a 1 versus 5. The defuse is going to come in, and Dignitas going to win the pistol. So it's not going to be easy for OpTic to close this one out.
Dignitas want to try and take us the distance. They've won the pistol, now they have to try and convert the anti-eco as well. And that is no easy feat, especially when you look at OpTic. They've gone for the buy. Despite getting the bomb down, could have played it safe, could have brought up in the next round, but no. OpTic want to try and do it here and now. They've got the AK on Cajun B. Pistols for the rest of the gang. And they turn their attention towards Banana, all walking on up. A conga line of Danes. Padded out with, you know, a few North Americans here and there as well. But Config lining up the smoke for CT. They're going to try and go for this B play. They throw in all the utility they've got, flashes, the full 9 yards. Here it comes, and it looks like Gay, the man on the entry, will be held back momentarily by that Molotov. Now they look to try and go through. Flashes, force voltage off the angle, and suddenly going to try and actually go back through. The flashes help him out. They're all here, everyone, all lined up for him. And now Mitch through the smoke in CT as it starts to fade. He tries to snuff out OpTic from this round, but he only manages to. Pressure's on. Shazam and Config still in with a shot of closing this round out for OpTic, and Config's wrapped around into CT. They've got no idea. Roka's gone walking on by, and Config gets one. And the second as well. 3 kills for him in total as OpTic win a 12th round there on the back of the force. Dignitas are going to be kicking themselves after that one.
Yeah, that's wild, though. I don't think there's any way they could have read that Config was there. But either way, it shouldn't have even gotten into a 2-on-2. Dignitas did such a good job of just bombing utility in towards that B bomb site to slow down the hit. OpTic stuck behind the smoke. Just so many bullets used from the defenders into that smoke that didn't yield them kills that eventually when they had to reload, they just kind of gave up the advantage of their positioning. I thought for sure that Dignitas would be able to have some kind of a 3-man spray down that would just save that round. And look at OpTic just rushing Rap side, circling around this A bomb site, opening kill. One more in the site, the default plan spot, but Shazam takes care of both of them very quickly, dispatches with ease. And that's all she wrote. Is A2Z going to try and chase down Stanislaw, who's just booking it. Meeting up with some reinforcements, although his reinforcement has low HP as well, but 13-5.
And there still isn't money for Dignitas to buy, so things kind of get that much worse. They've gone for the partial. It's CZs, there's 5 smokes, which at least gives them some ability to hold back the initial rush. And even then, they haven't even thrown them out. They've tried to play it smart. They've tried to hold on to these, and they're going to come to regret that. These smokes aren't worth anything now. The players are already in this site, and that's the B-bomb site gone. It's all over. This round is done. 14-5 in favor of OpTic.
I'm not sure this OpTic team is going to let go of W until the game's over. I think they just want to end it as fast as humanly possible. Shazam is deathmatching and winning at said deathmatch. This has been pretty dominant. The best part about all of this, Harry, is that you predicted OpTic to win at the start.
Yeah, I know.
And then you switched it 2 rounds into the first map and said by predicting OpTic, you really were just trying to jinx him to have Dignitas win. So you've gone and done it again, haven't you?
Yeah, I think the safest way to ever make a prediction is just wait for me to make mine. And then just go with the opposite.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, that in itself is a talent, right? Maybe if I just, instead of picking the winner, I just told everyone I'm picking the loser. And suddenly, you know, boom, I'm at 100%.
Yeah.
Prediction correctness.
Great point.
I mean, I don't know. That might be the new tactic from here on in. But yeah, no, not looking good for Dignitas. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It looks pretty bad, in fact. And maybe that is sugarcoating it. Maybe I have. It looks very, very dire right now. OpTic, they're just charging up banana. They, as you say, aren't letting go of W.
They just have so much confidence,
yeah.
don't they? And also, I mean, not even be confidence. I just am not even entirely sure they care to play proper Counter-Strike in any way. So, risking it all, just to have a little bit of fun, just to get a good position, and trying to force as much utility out as possible early on. One's going to come out here. 3 players essentially at this B bomb site. 1 in CT spawn. Voltage, though, going to get his head taken off, and A2Z is boosted up. He will find Config, but he shouts out the positioning, and look at all the counter nades that are coming in for Dignitas. Smoke is put down towards CT spawn. A2Z able to get 1, and there's Mitch chiming in. Stanislaw trying to win, and finally able to come out on top, but all of his teammates are dead, and that's going to be a round for Dignitas.
6-14. OpTic with another buy on the cards. They have to be a little bit careful as the money now does start to run low. Dignitas, though, equally not in a very good spot. They're poised on that edge of being reset. The next buy would be pretty weak, to say the least. So really they need one more kind of clean round, at least, just to kind of dodge that. And once again, it's aggression up Banana. Going back to basics, everyone's favorite matchmaking strat. Rush B. That Molotov actually holds them back. And has made them change their mind.
Yeah, walking through fire will do that to many people. Flashbangs out. Config still challenging, still trying to duel, and he might get a chance, but it's not an easy fight to win just against a shoulder peek. That's nice, though. The leg from Shazam, the shot through the wall from Config. A2Z going to be feeling bummed out by that one. And the smoke to show mid to B split. I don't think it actually got thrown in the end, but the bomb is coming back. There goes Gade at top mid, so they've got to hit this pretty quick. Config waiting for the smoke to clear. There is a lurker over towards A, which could make this interesting. And Config wants to go in quietly. Got to be careful. Player in CT spawn. If there's no smoke there, it will pick him off. Now it's going to go up, which is going to allow him to swing pretty quick before any counter utility. That's a big fight to win for Config. That's the entrance. And Mitch swings in all willy-nilly. Gets taken out.
It looks like Grim and Roker are going to be able to save. You know, you can see Stan's hunting them down. If they manage to get away with 2 rifles here, not that bad. They can actually go ahead and drop one over from Grim. Everyone else can scrape together something, at least. Config is pretty merciless, though. He's going to go hunting them down. And, you know, OpTic don't really want to throw anything away if they were playing normal Counter-Strike, but it doesn't feel like they are. They're just playing this, not even like no respect. It's more like they don't even respect themselves at this point. They don't respect anything. And there we go. Roker and Grim both fall 15-6. As OpTic look to try and close this series out 2-0. They want a decisive victory. No weapon saved means that Dignitas, the buy here is going to be just awful. And, you know, we've seen them kind of struggle with even more than this. So,
yeah, even when they've had the M4s, right? They've had a pretty tough time putting rounds on the board. So, yeah, this one should be a pretty easy closeout here. Shazam going to lead the way up Banana. This might be the one weapon that's at a disadvantage here, but actually Voltage comes right through the flames, and Shazam definitely not expecting that. Maybe a bit frustrated. Now the CZ chiming in. They know where A2Z is, but he's doing some work as everyone's getting crazy, pushing through smokes with AWPs, and now the flank is here to stop this all, but Stanislaw can win these. 1-on-2. He does have to go back for the bomb. Smoke in his face, using all of his utility. No one's blind on the other side of that smoke, and Stan goes down.
yeah, I mean, OpTic, they're just going to buy up. Why not? You know, they've got a massive buffer. They're at match point. They need one round, and they've been playing some damn good CS this evening. Stan's got the AK, Shazam's got the AWP. And that's all they might need. That could be their recipe to success. This time Shazam doesn't like the idea of getting caught out up close on Banana. Once again, he's playing it a bit more passive. He has Stan here to help him out. 2 players inside this B-bomb site. Gade going to be checking what's in store over here towards A. He doesn't spot anything. There's a man up on balcony. Thanks to those shots that came through just moments ago. They go ahead and throw out that one smoke down for Atlantic Coffins, although I'm not entirely sure. It might have been.
Well, now they've got to go. They've got to hit this bomb site because they've lost their presence, and that is a big mistake from Voltage, just coming out into the open, but still no progression from OpTic. Flashbang over the roof, re-smoking the choke point. A2Z is boosted up, though. Someone's going to need to do a drive-by. He's actually peering well over it. They actually haven't been exposed to that just yet. There's the first kill coming that way, and Mitch pounces at the same time as well. It's a wash for Dignitas in this round so far, but now they need to give up the site, reassess how they want to attack once the bomb is planted.
KGB and Shazam, a duo that we're not going to see together again for some time. It feels like Shazam 1v3 going to be finished off by Mitch. So the defuse does come in. Dignitas will manage an 8th round. They want to try and make a comeback happen here on Inferno. They need... I don't even know.
7?
Yeah, 7. That's the one I was thinking of. I actually knew how many. I just couldn't remember the name of the number. So
I'm not sure if that's any better, Harry.
No, that's probably worse. Probably decisively worse. But Dignitas still trailing behind. 7 rounds to get. OpTic going to be going for a partial buy-in of this round. It's CZ's, Smoke, and 2 flashes. That's the name of the game.
Here we go. Double flash up mid. No one had a contingency for that Molotov. They do put it out, but it slows them down. Split towards the B bomb site. 2 players here. Mitch is going to be ready for it. Gets the first kill, and they haven't been able to take him down just yet. A2Z and Mitch combining for 3 kills in CG spawn, and that effectively ends the round. The op Voltage, he's going to have a great time. Legs, Shazam, pulls out the pistol, and gets killed.
I think you already started to write Shazam off, as good as he's been.
I figured he would die there.
Yeah, there we go. He dies now. A little bit delayed. 9-15, 6 rounds between Dignitas and OpTic. And there is money for OpTic to buy, although it's not very good. It's not a great buy. Config won't have an AK. Gade won't have an AK. They've got 3 rifles, an MP7 on Config. Gade's saving money. It's all over the place, because I don't really think, as you said, OpTic care all too much. Oh, that is a savage nade, though. That is already just completely annihilated. Volley. She's been tagged out of 55 HP from that one $300 investment. Now Gade going to catch Grim off guard as he tries to cross back into the pit. Man advantage taken for OpTic. This could be it. This could be the round. Gade's wrapped through short. Shazam's going to try and take position over here long. He smokes it off and stands out on the balcony. There is still a man in pit. He has to have a fantastic hold, and he's going to fall at the first hurdle. It's just Voltage and A2Z left alive. Make that just Voltage, and this play has to be electric. Does manage to find Shazam. And Gade, so now he's in with a shot. 1v3, bombs down over on A. There's a flank coming around from behind, though, in the form of Config, and that could be the nail in the coffin. That could be the play that solidifies this win for OpTic here. And now he's got no idea. Config's in the back. And OpTic Gaming, they will manage to win the series 2-0.
Yes, like many of us said, some of us didn't, but they will be known as detractors, and they will be punished accordingly. Nice victory for OpTic. They qualify for Dallas. Don't they, Trace?
Yes, indeed they do. Team Dignitas has been stopped yet again.
I'd like to hear from Halvor. Picked Dignitas for the first time in the season.
Yeah.
Just maybe a slow clap.
I mean, I should have known better, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, why would I ever believe anything Pimp has believed in the entire season?
Oof. Big oof. All the oofs right there. And what was, well, what has become the turbulent showing that is Dignitas here in Season 7. Of course, they did have nothing to lose coming into the season, I say, other than most of their matches.
The majority of all matches, in fact, besides one, I think.
I think
so,
two.
They got 2.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. They're blowing my mind off.
Whoa, that sounded a little intense, Pim. We'll just bring it back down.
Bring it back down.
Tell me how you really feel about Team Dignitas.
How I really feel is I feel they are doing their absolute best, but it's just not good enough. And it's a team that is just not on the level to be playing in Pro League right now. I think it would be a shame to say anything else. And I think it's okay to be less good. It's okay not to be ready. And it's just a showcase of you know, the difference between playing in Pro League and playing in MDL. There's a skill difference, and Dignitas has got to experience that firsthand. Now they go back in MDL. Hopefully, can re-qualify, and then maybe next season again we can see them, you know, mature as players and mature as a team.
And it is a cycle on its own. Let's take a look though at the number game. That is of course, this game on Inferno. OpTic Gaming Team Dignitas squaring it up, and, well, there you have it. The numbers don't lie, do they, Halvor?
No, they really don't. Numbers got to speak to themselves. Rogue and Agency having really rough games, not being able to contribute much of anything. And to be fair, that was the case for the better part of the team for most of the first half. It was really only Grim who got into it initially, and then we saw towards the end Voltage having that 3K to turn the round around and kind of give a couple of rounds on the board, I guess, for Dignitas before they got closed out by OpTic. But yeah, Config, 25 kills, you know, 100 plus ADR with 130 ping. Just loving 3 figures.
Loving 3 figures, yeah, that is what that is. But I mean, I think that would be the more realistic storyline to talk about here. One that's going to hold just a little bit more weight would be what's going on within this OpTic camp. I mean, we do know that times are changing. Yeah. And bringing in these new players, will it breathe the life into this lineup that they need?
It'll be a fresh new start, and it will be a completely new OpTic, because what we've seen from them thus far in this season is the fact that they play as individuals. They had Config, they had KGB, they had Stanislav for that matter, Gate, being great individual players, but they didn't play as a team. Team play-wise, they were not on pair with the rest of them, and unless Config would be fired up, they wouldn't win the games. That simple. Now, bringing in Snappy, who is, as you said, a great in-game leader, that likes to be structured in a way where he also gives freedom to his players, sort of like North did it when Config was at his very, very best back in the day. So I do believe that it's going to be a complete new OpTic lineup, and it's going to be interesting to see how far they can actually drive this. I do believe we have maybe even the second best Danish team up and coming right here. North is going to be very careful, and Heroic for that matter, you know, in shambles now without the 2 best players. It could be a change of pace and a change of landscape within the Danish Counter-Strike, which has been the same for the past, I don't know how many years, you know. Astralis being number 1, then Dignitas with myself on it being the ever number 2, and whenever we had a good player who was doing well, he was getting poached by Astralis. Never me, for some reason, I don't know why, but must be reasons, but like, it was like that. It's been like the food chain forever, but now I do feel OpTic have a great shot at actually, you know, changing that scenario in Denmark and maybe putting North to shame and bring them down to the 3rd best Danish team, and that would be a disaster for North, who is a team owned by FC Copenhagen, the biggest Danish sports club in Denmark, and like known for winning everything.
But you're talking about them being put to shame. I think they're doing enough of that on their own at this point.
That's fair enough.
Turbulence is an understatement to what is going on within the North camp. But again, we can only speculate. However, one event that we did just roll off of, and I actually just came from yesterday, DreamHack Masters Marseille. Quite the showing down there, and it was a hell of a tournament for all intents and purposes. Some Danes did end up grabbing the trophy at the end of the day over Nodus Sincere. And that simple guy, man, he's putting on one hell of a showing down there. We can dive a little bit further into that, but first, let's take a quick look at DreamHack Masters Marseille.
DreamHack Marseille was the tournament where giants such as SK Gaming, Cloud9, and FaZe Clan all have been undergoing roster changes this past month. And that could be seen as the first giant, SK Gaming, was knocked out in the group stages by Mouse Sports.
16-6 as Mouse Sports knocked SK out of the tournament. Big win, 2-0 against SK Gaming on LAN.
Mouse Sports were now off to the playoffs, where the CIS team Na'Vi with Red Hot Simple awaited in the quarterfinals. Na'Vi won the first map with ease, but in the second map, Mouse Sports fought back.
Oscar will take him down for the quad kill, and that's overtime.
But the fighting didn't last, and the CIS Giants advanced to the semifinals.
And there it is, 42 at the end. Why on earth not? 19-16, and Na'Vi are going to make it one more time.
In the second quarterfinal, another roster-changing giant, Cloud9, faced off against Gambit. After a lost overtime in Map 1, Cloud9 never seemed to get a foothold and ended up getting destroyed on Train.
And it's going to be Doja, only fitting. He's been playing such a great game. 16-7 against Cloud9, knocking them out of the tournament and continuing on.
In the third quarterfinal, the last new-look giant, FaZe Clan, needed to take down a well-playing Astralis team. But the Astralis team never let FaZe take a breather.
Nukes coming in! Both kills landing! Oh my goodness, this is going to be a lot of fun.
And they won both maps with ease. In the post-match interview, Astralis' in-game leader, Glaive, also felt the roster changes had an impact on FaZe Clan.
The whole team just feels a bit more not as comfortable playing.
Disorganized?
Yeah, a little bit more disorganized maybe.
Going to the last quarterfinal where a Swedish derby took place, the Katowice champions from Fnatic faced Ninjas in Pajamas. A back-and-forth game where Fnatic won Map 1, NiP won Map 2. Leaving it to a third and deciding map on Train. But with the well-playing Crims, the Swedish derby was won by Fnatic, taking the last semi-final spot. In the first semi-final, Seized got a chance to beat his former teammates from Na'Vi, a task that was made very hard by Simple.
He's looking crisp, Anders.
And as Simple kept picking Gambit apart, they cruised their way to the grand final. In the second semi-final, the well-playing Astralis team faced Fnatic. Astralis is one of the best teams on Overpass, and that could be seen as they destroyed Fnatic 16-5. The second map was Mirage, and Fnatic started off strong.
Down flusher, make it a triple.
But the strong start didn't faze the Astralis team, and they ended up winning the second semi-final.
One kill, Astralis in the grand finals against Na'Vi, 16-12.
As the grand final kicked off, it was clear that if you want to beat Na'Vi, you need to beat Simple. But working as a team, Astralis shut down the Ukrainian star.
Very well played by Astralis, taking no chances.
And took map 1 with ease. The second map was Inferno, a map that Na'Vi has been dominating the entire tournament.
But no, Electronic has now shown himself with a 3K.
But that didn't stop the Danes, as they shut down the CIS Giants and won their first tournament in a year.
Astralis, Na'Vi, respectively grabbing first and second in that order. Astralis garnering a 100K for that one. And then, of course, on the other side in the third, fourth would be Fnatic and Gambit, who finished that one out there in the top 4. So applause to them. The Danish Derby, or excuse me, the Swedish Derby was also a good one, dare I say. It was a good matchup to watch.
Definitely so. Actually, a lot of like positive surprises, honestly, coming out of Marseille. One of the biggest ones for me is maybe not the one that's most talked about, but Gambit kind of coming back into form, making semifinals at a really big tournament. That's really cool. It seems like CS has had a bit of a revitalization in terms of just his form. Finally, some calmness being brought to that squad. Obviously, they've swapped around in-game leaders like Hot Potato. Finally landed on Seized, and that seems to be working out for now. So that's pretty cool to see. And obviously, I think the big storyline was obviously, if you want to angle it towards an individual player, it's no doubt it's going to be Simple. That was just like, I don't know what you'd call him, like a demigod or something like that. Machine.
Yeah, monster.
Yeah,
would be the wordage that comes to my mind.
He's a monster for sure, but I'm actually a little bit annoyed by the fact that Glaive goes so unnoticed. I know he was awarded MVP by DreamHack himself, but Glaive had one hell of a tournament, and not only did he had one hell of a tournament, he set his team up to be the most dominant version of Astralis I've seen in I don't know how long, and it's been like 4 months with Magix now. It's a fairly new team. We see teams still making the excuse, we're still new, we still need more tournaments. This is Astralis' third tournament, I believe, with Magix, and they're coming in, being the best team in the world and by a far margin right now. They were so well played by Astralis as a team, but also as Glaive as an in-game leader, putting up those numbers while leading his team in the way he did. That was like one of the most dominant things I've ever seen from an in-game leader ever in my life.
How about this? I mean, we could talk about Astralis winning the tournament, but I think equally as cool would be a tweet from the Prime Minister himself to the Astralis side. Now, we do have a Dane on the desk. We are as lucky to have that. So please, tell us what it is I'm reading right here.
It's basically just saying, there you go, Astralis. You made it. You did it. It's in English. There you go. And then his hashtags, the Danish national TV hashtag. They was broadcasting the entire thing, so that's kind of cool. And then Andreas Højslet, aka Sipnix, is actually making a fun joke right here. He's responding to Lars Løkke Rasmussen. You can just tell me when you need a clutch minister. So yeah, that's like a little punch towards the Prime Minister. So whenever they need a clutch minister, Sipnix is ready to go.
Oh, outstanding.
Outstanding.
Well,
on the internet by that one.
It is super cool. I mean, to see that sort of involvement at that higher level of government, I think it's a real testament to how far we've come in esports thus far.
Also cheap points for him, so there you go.
I'll give him credit for the fact that it's not just like the singular tweet. I mean, like, oh, somebody told me, whispered in my ear that Astralis did this. Congrats. Because he was actually tweeting out about what was going on in the semifinals as well. So he was he was just pretty open about it. He tweeted out something to the effect of like, I didn't expect to actually get so into this when he first sat down and watched it, but he ended up watching out the entire semifinals and obviously watched the finals too. So, Astralis got a new fan.
To be fair, a lot of politicians in Denmark are opening their eyes towards these or this esports segment, which is a minority still in Denmark. So it's great to see that the higher ups are also paying attention. Let's see how much it actually, like as a Danish, I want to see it on the groundwork. I want to see something happen instead of just coming out and congratulating a winner. That's always easy to do. Let's see some results and let's see some work being done by those politicians.
Well, so eloquently said. I can just imagine a scene where. Here's a prime minister sitting in his chair in his office. Someone comes in and it's like, hey, sir, the game's on. All right, also pull the files of all the players and staff of this organization. I would like to see a brief backstory of everything that they've ever done and their families and all that.
That's how it works in America, Trace. But,
I have seen House of Cards, so yeah, that's pretty similar.
It's pretty accurate, isn't it?
It's freakishly accurate. Either way, Marseille is in the books. DreamHack Masters is done, and we do see Astralis now kicking off what is to be the summer era of 2018, which is going to prove to be a rather jam-packed one. We will also be heading down to Sydney this next week. But Marseille was definitely the event to kick off the summer, I believe.
Yeah, and not only that, we talked about obviously leading up to Marseille and obviously leading up to the Pro Finals, the fact that the Grand Slam is still up for the grabs. And we expect, maybe SK can get their third, maybe FaZe can get their second. It was pretty spread out. No real team had been able to kind of just make their claim on this and be a clear-cut favorite going into the final couple of tournaments in the summer to actually claim that $1 million. And now with Astralis just grabbing their first Grand Slam, it's just completely up in the air again. SK definitely didn't look too impressive in France. Obviously, they do have time to still work on this, but I mean, with how dominant Astralis looked, we could actually see just like a really quick sweep of the Grand Slam titles. They could win Sydney, they could go into Pro League finals, win that as well, and from that point on, it's not too many steps left for a Danish team that's really like looking to fire on all cylinders.
Well, let's take a look at the Grand Slam. If we have all of that, perhaps we should take a look at exactly how this one breaks down. You're going to see that big Astralis Star A thing they got going on there. Grabbing the trophy there in Marseille, adding themselves to the list where SK Gaming currently do find the lead. Now, you see 3 events. Sydney coming up next week. You got the Pro League finals roughly a week, 2 weeks after that. And then obviously ESL 1 Cologne in July. Well, I don't know, boys. Who's gonna can SK get it together and close this one out, having such an advantage already? Or are they already in kind of a weird spot?
I don't think anyone is going to close this one out. I think Counter-Strike is too competitive these days that we're going to see some different winners, as we've seen throughout the entire Grand Slam period. So,
it's 2025. Two teams are still trying to get that $1 million.
It's probably going to be Team Dignitas at that point, but who knows?
Team Dignitas.
Yeah, Team Dignitas on the way to an Intel Grand Slam title, and what is surely to be a very not near soon thing. Yeah,
depends on how Anders controls the simulation.
Terrible England. Guys, we're gonna go to a quick break here in a second, but let's get some closing thoughts on Marseille.
I mean, again, great to see finally LAN CS happening. Obviously, very big difference from what we see on LAN and what we see online. Most of the games, almost regardless of what teams you bring to the LAN. And I just think it brings for a higher quality of gameplay, which is always nice,
for example.
I mean, they did just kind of went the opposite way, didn't they?
Yes,
they had a real rough time in France. They're going to have another shot at it in Sydney, though. So more opportunities there. I think that's more of an anomaly, though. But yeah, it was definitely surprising to see them fall that far off from their online performances.
Yeah, I agree. Good to see not Dignitas, sorry.
No. Can you not? Can you just not?
Good to see Gambit coming back, as you said. Still hate that team to the bone right now, because the fact that they keep changing game leader, it's so stupid. You have Adrian, you have Hobbit, then you have Doja, then you have
Fish, and then you switch them out.
It's like it's been every single one of that team. If they could just find some consistency, I actually do believe that the team and the individual skill on that team could drive it well, and it could become a consistent, top team instead of just being a one-off here and there. Yeah. Now, great to see that C's finally doing some work with them as an in-game leader. Now, let's please, pray to the gods, the Counter-Strike god, that he sticks to that one. Even though they have a bad event, a bad period, just stick to your in-game leader and try to embrace the role and maybe make a career out of that. C's, to be completely fair with you, it's probably your last shot, anyway. If it's not working in Gambit, then your options are kind of left out. You tried Navi, you tried Flipside, so if that doesn't work for you, then you're out of options. So make that a career path for you and invest into it 100% and help Gambit become the team that I think they can become, instead of just being the one-off pony once in a while. It's kind of annoying.
They did win a major.
They did.
So did Cloud9.
And no one can take that away from them. But what I can take from you is this precious time that you're spending with us. We're going to be going to a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be a little bit of Luminosity. It's going to be a little bit of Ghost squaring off in the last 2 maps of the night. So from the Xfinity Analyst Desk, cutting to a quick break, and we will BRB.